Om Namo Narayanaya. Om Namo Narayanaya. Om Namo Narayanaya. Devotees, many years ago, in the 1990s, Lord Shiva, with his Shakti Mother Kali, opened an opportunity to go to Martinique. And today in 2013, as we have members from the Martinique Dharam Sabha Shakti Association and the Triveni Mandir, which is also part of our Mandir. And I listened to the combination of the African shaks, the dhantal, the majira, the tabla, the dholak, and the African drums. And it's all Nataraja, it is all the rhythm of the universe. And as I sit here and I listen and I feel the energies of Nataraja, I recollected it when this Leela began. And today's satsang with the energy, with the combination of African instruments and Indian instruments here at the RDS Mandir, Railway Road, Kunupia, it is what it should be. Because what we practice here has nothing to do with Hinduism, and it has nothing to do with Indian people. It is to do with human beings. And today I would like to talk a little bit on the art of mastering your own destiny. The art of mastering your own destiny. We all know about destiny, and we all would like to master our own destinies. But how do we do that? And most of my references would be taken from Wikipedia, Google this morning. At 4 a.m., I went on Google, and I said, let me see what I can talk about. But one, if you think about mastering your destiny, your own destiny, why? Why should we want to do that when there are so many other things we can do effortlessly? And your life would go by, and you would live, and you would have fun, and you would die. We say, Siddha Sadha Chalne in Hindi. But we need to do that to be able to master your destiny so that you can become the best that you can be. You just don't want to be a guitar player. You want to be like Sunil, the guitar player. You don't want to be a dholak player, like just a dholak player, but you want to be the best. And today we have a full entourage of dholak players and tabla players and rhythm people. And that's why you need to bring out the best in you in order for you to really live your life to the fullest. But for you to do that, it means then that you should move from where you are today, if you are already not the best you are, to move from here to becoming the best that you could be, that you could possibly be. So how you move from point A to point B, from where we are now and where we would like to be, where we would dream to be, where our destiny lies. Then there is something between now and in the future where we would like to be. And that's something that we need. First we need to find out what resources we have. We want to go to Port of Spain, you take the car. You want to go to the temple in Paje, you have the maxis who take you there. So you have the resources of the maxi to take you there. We want to go from where we are to where we would like to be in the future. So you look at, you take stock at your resources. And the main resource that we all have is this human body. You. That's what we have. This has nothing to do with house and motor car and bank balance and university degree and everything else. It has nothing to do with that. It is about you, the individual. So if it starts with you and I, we are equal. It doesn't have to do with the possessions. So everybody has an equal chance to become what you can be or what you would like to be. So this body, first, we must, if we have this body, we need to take stock of the body and to take care of it, because this is going to take us from point A to point B. And we as human beings, we hear body, mind, and sometimes people talk about soul. Body, mind, and soul. But we leave the soul for the time being, body and mind. That's who we are. And this body and mind is supposed to take us from where we are today to where we would dream about being sometime in the future. And how do we do that? So if the body is the most important machinery, you have your car, you take it to service once a week, you ensure that the oil levels are correct, the tires are fully inflated, so many things, you take care of your car. Okay. People do that with their instruments, with the kitchen, with everything else, you take care of it. Apart from eating food and taking a shower sometimes, what else do we do to ensure that this resource that we have, this human body, it is in proper condition? One, we have to ensure that we put the right fuel into our gas tank, which is our body. So we must be mindful about what we eat and what we drink. And when I speak about this, I always remember the very first sentence when you're learning Hindi as a little boy. In the first Hindi book called Bachcho Ki Kitab, Book 1, Children's Book, Book 1, the first sentence in it is Kasrat Kar. And you would have heard me say that sometime before. Because one of the first things when you start to write sentences, exercise. See? And so many of us disregard that important factor. And if this body is one of the main resources that we have to move from point A to point B, then we must exercise. We must pay attention to the functioning of our body. And if we pay particular attention, not fanatical attention, but attention to your body, it will be in good working condition to take you from point A to point B. Then the next part of it, body and mind. And do you know, as far as men could think from way back when, the thinkers and the scientists, they have all been trying to understand this little magic called mind. If you go back into research, you will realize so many interpretations, and people have done so many studies about this something that is the mind. And still, they cannot say for a fact it is that. They would make references and they would use assumptions, but to tell you exactly what is this mind and where it is, it's very, very difficult. Most time we will say, okay, here. And a lot of time we talk about mind and we point into the brain. See? But the mind is something entirely different. And what Wikipedia said, the mind is a complex of cognitive faculties that enables consciousness, perception, thinking, learning, reasoning, and judgment. It is a characteristic of human beings, even though some beliefs tell us that animals also have a mind. I'm not here to debate that. I'm here to talk about moving from point A to point B. So we will not go into the intricacies of who or what has mind. We're talking about using the resources that we have to become all that we can be. It is generally agreed that the mind is that which enables being to have subjective awareness. And my key word here is awareness. And intentionality towards their environment, your environment. To perceive and to respond to stimuli, to have consciousness, including thinking and feeling. And we're just trying to look at some thoughts on this thing that is called mind. And everybody, mine, and there's mine, and so many mine and mine, with the D, with the E, everything happens. Play of language, but the sound is the same. So probing your mind would take you into your beliefs. And we all sit here collectively. A while ago we were reveling in the energy of Lord Shiva. But deep down inside we have our own personal beliefs. Some that we came with, and some that we were exposed to and we loved. But when your belief system cannot take you to where you would like to go or where you should go, or to take you to further in your search, you become lost. And within recent times I've had the opportunity of interacting with people from St. Kitts and Nevis and St. Lucia in reference to pursuing a certain belief and achieving a certain goal. But when whatever you believe in cannot take you to where you want to go, then you become lost. And many, many years ago, there was a function in one of the methanol plants in Point Lisa. And there were people from the different religious groups came to pray for the industry. And I was sitting next to a religious leader. It was the 150th anniversary of Indians coming to Trinidad. And he said, you know, Pandit, after 150 years, our group is still in its puerile stage. So after 150 years, they have not grown. They have not begun to mature. And he was telling, as the head of that organization, was telling me that. Because it was the truth. They have not matured. And if we're talking about that, then we will understand why do we have so many religions in the world, and more than half of the population, world population, subscribe to some sort of religious belief. We have peace on earth and goodwill to men. There's so much lawlessness. I look at the newspaper, I'm afraid to look at the newspaper. I don't even want to look at the news in the afternoon. Because what you're seeing, it is total chaos, breakdown of law and order. And with so many trillions of dollars spent into religion, and this is what we have today, then something is wrong. And what is happening? It is becoming aware of our environment. Because the mind, when you think about mind and you probe the mind, you must be cognitive of the environment, what is around you. You cannot be just living in a little shell and disregard everything around you. You must be able to pay attention, to be aware of your environment. And if we are to probe this aspect and to see why are we in chaos, then it will take us to our system of schooling. And again, sometimes it is frightening to think that. There's a system of education called the Macaulay system. And this system was designed by Lord Macaulay of England. And when he realized that when they conquered India, they could break the Indians' bone, they could kill them, they could torture them, but they could not have broken their spirit. And Lord Macaulay wrote to the head of England and told them, these people, we cannot break their spirits. So what we have to do, we have to come up with a system of education, so gradually we'll be able to break their spirits after 1, 2, 3 generations down the road. And the sad part about it, we in the West have taken that system 100% into it. So if this system was designed with malicious intention, the product would be malicious. It would be polluted. If we have to make candy, or we say fudge, sugar cake, and instead of having sugar, we put salt because they look alike. Definitely, the product that you're going to produce would not be what you want. It would not be what you want. It would be opposite to what you want. Because when you put it in your mouth, you would not get the taste that you intended in the first place. So if the formula was with the wrong intention, what would happen? And people who are learning the art of mastering their destiny around the world, and I'm not speaking about race, I'm not speaking about religion, I'm speaking about human beings who are wise enough or who have been thinking enough to want to master their destiny, they are moving in a certain direction around the world, in the different countries, in the different languages, and they're moving towards something called yoga and meditation. Check for yourself and you would see, around the world, it's the fad. Like in the 60s, we had hippies and we had all these fancy things. Now, everybody is moving towards yoga and meditation because it is offering something. There's a promise of something that would fill the void inside everybody. And that's why it is happening today. It's a renaissance, yoga and meditation. Everybody's awakening to this. And this yoga and meditation, it is a yoga. A yoga is the bringing together of more than one thing to get a result. And yoga brings the body and the mind together. Meditation is a limb of yoga. So yoga, it brings together the body and mind to get something. When the body and mind is accessed in this way, then we are able to discover and encounter the software that your God installed into you when you were created. And when we start probing this software that God put inside of us, because He put something so that we're able to function and to be able to achieve what we want to achieve. And when we encounter this software and we want to open the software to read it into the language of it, you would encounter your spirit. Because your spirit is your engine room. That's where everything happens. But you cannot. When we were singing just now and everybody was in ecstasy with the rhythm, we were actually experiencing Shiva. And those of you in your homes, you would have experienced Shiva. Because that's what it is. We were reveling and we were getting into the software of Lord Shiva. And the experience of ecstasy was there. In the same way, when we probe into our own selves, we would encounter that software that God sent us with. And that is bringing together a proper mix of body and mind. And then you get a revelation. A revelation is difficult to describe to you. What is this revelation? But yourself would reveal to you your own self in the process. It's difficult to fully understand this subject without going back to this Macaulay system. Because we are, and around the world you are experiencing certain things where a basic ingredient is missing from your life. And that's why we must be aware of why we are into a certain phase around the world and why everybody is moving. Because if they are comfortable and they are enjoying the benefits, then there is no need to move to look for yoga, to try to combine body and mind in order to discover your spirit. So the system that we have been teaching, it cannot take us somewhere. And the ancient system, it was called the Gurukul system. And before I go into the Gurukul system, I would like to chant one bhajan based on the love of Guru. बिन सतगुरु नर फिरत भुलाना खोजत फिरत न मिले ठिकाना बिन सतगुरु नर फिरत भुलाना खोजत फिरत न मिले ठिकाना सुत एक आई करे सुत एक आई करे उस अपना मरा
हो जाता मेरा
जैसे मृगाना भीख स्तोरी जैसे मृगाना भीख स्तोरी हो जत मन सोचा ऐसा सुगंधित
सतगुरु ने हो जाता
गुरु प्रताप निज रूप दिखाना गुरु प्रताप निज रूप दिखाना सो आनंद कबीर सुनो भाई साधु उलटे आप में फिरत हो जाता फिरत मिले ठिकाना And we come to the ancient system that we call the Gurukul system. The present system that we are using, we are measuring everybody with the same yardstick. And even parents at home make the error of measuring all your children with the same yardstick, which is unfair to your child. The Western system do not pay any attention to the differences of your children. And many people's children in the same home, same parents, and they're like chalk and cheese. One has a lot of anger, one is very supportive, one has a nice voice, one can play tabla well, so many different things. Some like gardening. Same parents, but they're entirely different. And then, so we at home, you make the mistake of measuring them all. All must become engineers, all must be doctors, all must be this. And you're being unfair to your children. And if you at home are being unfair to your own children, what do you expect from the system? And that's why, so the system is so terribly, dangerously flawed that instead of allowing the children to become all that they can be, it's actually making them more disillusioned, more frustrated, more turned into the wrong types of things for mood enhancers. Because starting at home and into the school system, we are using a flawed system. The Gurukul system encourages who wants to preach, who wants to teach, who wants to use bow and arrow, who can shoot well, who knows how to give change properly, who want to trade and make a profit. That's what the system is about. That's the Gurukul system. And people have taken that now and put the wrong ingredient over it, and you blame the system. Many people condemn that Eastern way of life, which is not a religion, it's a way of life. And they have polluted it by putting wrong impressions. If a child wants to become a teacher, they said, no. You should run the store because your father became a millionaire because of the store. It's wrong. If the child has no inclination towards the business and the store, and the child wants to become a teacher in one of the schools in Pinal, you should be happy about that. You see? But because of the system, you force your children to become what they do not want to be. And that's why every Monday morning, or the most heart attacks take place at 9 o'clock on a Monday morning. I'm telling you it's true. So what I'm telling you is true. Because you push them into a profession and you have to be this and you have to be that, and they are so frustrated because of the job and everything else, and there is no balance. And that's why we need to come back and see what we would like to be, what is the best that we should be, and it should be based on something inside of you. And the thing about it is that when we were small, ask a 10-year-old what you would like to be. Ask Christian what he would have liked to be when he was small. And he told you already, he loved the smell of gas, so he wanted to pump gas on a gas station. And he did it, he fulfilled that role. And then 10 years after, you ask him what you want to be, and it shifted. Even me, myself. What I would have liked to be at 10, what I would like to be at 18, what I would have liked to be at 25, it keeps shifting because these dreams and these goals and these targets and what you would like to be keep shifting based on how far of the horizon you could see. So as you move forward, the horizon keeps shifting because your view becomes wider. You have options, you have choices to make. And that's why we need to understand. So as you move forward, your horizon keep changing, your world keep expanding. Not the world, your world. Because we all are the nuclei, the center of our own worlds. And my world swivel around me, and your world swivel around you. So we have our own worlds, and some of us, our worlds may never meet and never touch. Because this is how we function within this bubble that is called my world. And some might believe that there are disparities in what God created. You might think there's inequality. Assuming that you had some stiff joints in one of your hands, then you would not be able to manipulate it to be able to play the chords on your guitar. You may not be able to roll your hands on the dholak. And then you think, okay, God is unfair to me because my hands is not as agile as these fellas. But He's preventing you from going into one field of playing guitar and you remain a pauper. And He's pushing you to do something else. Maybe to dance. Maybe to do something else. To excel in your field. So sometimes you look at something and you feel you have been disadvantaged. No. If God doesn't want you to go in a certain direction, look and see where you would like to go. Where would God want you to go? I had many, many discussions like this with me and my God. Growing up, and I was telling Him, why are you pushing me here? I don't like that. I don't want to go there. That's how I speak to my Shiva. Why? Why? And I would talk to Him and challenge Him until He showed me why He wants me to go in a certain direction. And you must be brave enough. But you know what? You're afraid to challenge Him because a lot of you don't know where you want to go. You're afraid. Okay, I know I have to go to school. I know I have to do my exam. But what is the big goal? What is the big picture? That's where you have to start dreaming. You have to start creating your own world. Because this entire world, it is perfection. Whether you could play guitar or you cannot play guitar, whether you can sing a bhajan or you can't sing a bhajan. It's your world. It's perfect. You're the perfect Kenny, and you're the perfect Sunil, and you're the perfect Samaru. That's what we are. A combination of perfection at play. And we have to, unless we could understand that, and you cannot understand that by reading a book, you have to go inside. Combine your body and mind together and go inside to describe, to encounter the hard drive that you have inside of you. And that's why we need to have visions. Vision is what will take you to where you would like to be and to become all that you can become. So you must see it first. You must picture it. Some of us write it down. And that's how, the only way you can achieve your destiny. But before I conclude, be mindful of the fact that the destiny, it is not the high point of where you would like to be as a human being, but the high point where you would be after you drop the human body. Because destiny also includes while you're in this body and even when you drop this body. So when you bring body and mind together and you discover the soul, your engine room, be mindful that we must also target beyond this human body. Boliye Syapati Ramachandra ki jai. Oh.